Hello, it's Pete from the Make Noise Instagram channel, and that was a video I recently posted to Instagram of a Buchla 297 inspired patch. The 297 is Buchla's infinite phase shifter, a module that combines, among other things, a phaser and Shepard tones to create endlessly rising or endlessly falling patterns of harmonic motion. The module does more than that. It's a cursory read just to say it's a phaser and a Shepard tone generator, but just that combination of features got me excited and sent me down a rabbit hole of patching, which led to the patch we're going to recreate here right now. In particular, I'll be using the telharmonic in its spirotone mode and the Spectraphon with its A and B oscillators in SAM mode. The spirotone, if you're unfamiliar, is described in great detail in an excellent video by Walker, which is listed in the description below. But, in short, the spirotone was an Easter egg firmware coded by Tom Erb that transforms the telharmonic into a Shepard tone generator. It's also known as a barber pole effect, which is what's listed on the Buchla module's faceplate. It utilizes the H and P outputs for the effect, and I've patched them into the A and B inputs of Spectraphon. The harmonic outs of Spectraphon are patched to the stereo channel of X-Pan. X-Pan is patched into the mimeophone, which is currently not doing anything. We'll change that later. And the output of the mimeophone is what we're listening to. Additionally, I currently have two clocks in place. Channel 2 from Tempe is clocking the mimeophone, and channel 3 from Tempe is clocking this Rene sequence. To enter spirotone mode, we'll press and hold the H-lock button for 5 seconds. You will definitely hear when that happens. It's a super fun sound. I love the spirotone combined with the Spectraphon. That's not the whole patch. We'll be expanding from there. But that's what got me excited. Once I made that connection and listened to it, I couldn't wait to see where things went next. And where things went next for me was using the partials control. So I wanted to have a bit of interaction with the amplitude of the signal. Partials are not amplitude controls on the Spectraphon, but if you set them fully counterclockwise, the module doesn't make a sound. So turning them up goes from silence to a sound, and we can do that with voltage. And as they get louder, they get brighter, kind of like a low-pass gate. Again, these are not low-pass gates, but we can use them in the way we would use a low-pass gate in a patch, controlling both amplitude and timbre. So let's modulate partials. To do that, I will take the X gate output of Rene and patch it to the trigger input of channel 4 of maths. I'll take the unity output of maths, patch it to a mult, because we'll be sending it to control both of the partials inputs, and patch these copies of the maths unity output of this function to control both of these. Before we do that, let's just take a listen to what it sounds like when we manually decrease partials. fully counterclockwise, totally silent. Now patching in this maths function to both these partial CV inputs, we should have some articulation. I've got this maths function set fully exponential, which is typically how I would set a maths function when modulating a low-pass gate. So it's not necessary, but it kind of gets you more in the low-pass gate territory, I find, in setting the curve that way. But do whatever works for your patch. It's not a rule, just a suggestion. Next up, let's modulate the frequency of our Spectraphon oscillators. As you can see, oscillator B is in its follow mode, so any voltage patched to the volt per octave input of A will be reflected on the pitch of B. So if we take the XCV output of Renee and patch it to the volt per octave input of Spectraphon A, both A and B will be modulated with this X channel sequence. Let's give it a listen. To add a little variety, I've manually adjusted the fall time of this outer maths channel, but we can do that with voltage too. I'll take channel 4 of Tempe, patch it into channel 3 of maths, which is going to attenuate that gate signal, and patch it to the fall input on channel 4 of maths. Now, as we increase this amount, every time channel 4 goes high, the fall time will be longer. Every time channel 4 is low, fall time will be just whatever the panel setting is. We're getting somewhere. Now to use a Simpsons term and embiggen the sound, which is a perfectly cromulent word, I'm using a Simpsons reference to make Walker laugh, who will be watching this video later on. Hi, Walker.
Hi.
I will patch the sine outputs from Spectraphon A and B into X-band channels 1 and 2. Mixing harmonic outs with the sines or the subs is a great way to fill out the Spectraphon sound, and Spectraphon X-band together is like a go-to pairing for me. I always have them together, and this is why. So, sine out from A into the B input of channel 1 of X-band. If I change the crossfade amount, which is currently set fully at A, we'll start to hear the signal as I bring it up towards B. As you can see, channel 1 is panned to the right, and channel 2 here is panned to the left. The reason I'm patching the sine waves into the B inputs of X-bands channels 1 and 2 is for this very similar reason that we set partials all the way down and then started modulating it, is that if we modulate the crossfade position, we can use these as amplitude controls, as VCAs, as exceptionally clean VCAs at that. So instead of modulating these by hand, we'll use a voltage. And again, we'll look to maths. I will patch an output of tempi here. Channel 5 will do. To the trigger input of maths, channel 1. And I will patch its unity output to an open mult channel and use that to modulate channel 1 of Xpan. And I'll patch the sum output of maths to the remaining open CV bus mult. And this will be used to modulate channel 2 of Xpan, just to give it a little bit of variety. The sum output is going to mix all the channels of maths whose variable outputs are not in use. So in this case, that's 1, 2, and 4. 2 is set to noon, so it's not doing anything. But 1 and 4 are set with different polarities. So 1 is subtracting voltage from 4's positive voltage. It'll give us a little bit of variety in the 2, which again are panned in stereo. Let's give that a listen. One more tempi trick we can do is to have the various channels, or some of them at least, in this case 4 of them, be mod enabled, meaning I've pressed the B button and I'm selecting channels 1, 4, 5, and 6 to be mod enabled, and by patching a gate signal into the mod input, these 4 selected channels will swap their rates around, and we can have a bit of additional variety happening in the rhythm, in the tempis. I will patch a copy of channel 2, which again is currently clocking the mimeophone, to the mod input, and we can hear the effect that that has on the sound. Cool. Things are moving. Things are moving. What I'd like to do is bring in the mimeophone to really dress this up a bit. The mimeophone again is clocked, and just increasing the mix knob will hear the ways in which the echo circuit of the mimeophone really complements this kind of patch. I can do that all day. But instead of doing it by hand, I'll have the Wogglebug do it for me. I'll patch the output of channel 1 of tempi to the clock input of the Wogglebug. And I will take this very long cable and connect one side of it to the stepped CV output of the Wogglebug and the other to the zone input on the mimeophone. adding in even more variety, we can modulate the slide controls on Spectraphon, which will shift the harmonics of the output around. And we'll do that randomly. We'll patch the smooth and woggle CV outs from the woggle bug, and patch the smooth to the slide CV input and the woggle CV out to the slide CV inputs on A and B. Let's also modulate the telharmonic. Now, if you recall, way back in the beginning of this video, I was turning the interval control by hand. In spirotone mode, that controls both the speed and direction of the endlessly rising or endlessly falling sine waves. Patching the C CV out from Renee to that CV input for interval will do that sequentially. You can patch any voltage you like into this control. I'll be using the C CV out, which is clocked in tandem with the X channel of Renee. But experiment, use what you've got. And finally, I didn't do this in the Instagram video because those videos are pretty short, but I have two states set up here on Renee, one major, one minor, and I'll just switch between them manually and play us out with that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been enjoyable for you. It's given you some patch ideas, perhaps, to incorporate into your own patching. What modules or ideas inspire your patches? Have you ever read about something and then just tried to recreate it or see where it takes you in your own system, like the 297 did for me? I don't have one, but I have the internet and I've read about what that thing is, and it sounds pretty cool to me. This is not a Buchla 297, but the thing doesn't have to be the thing in order to get you somewhere new, and that's what I found in this patch. Okay, thank you for watching. Please stop by the Make Noise Instagram channel for daily videos, and come back next week and see what Walker's got for you. Thanks, happy patching.